All right, everybody, welcome back to the second part of getting to know Jill Lowry, the series we're doing here. And Jill, appreciate you spending the time with us.
Yeah, thanks, Isaac. It's enjoyable.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about Jill's, in the last video we talked about a little bit about upbringing and her wonderful parents and how, because they were wonderful, now Jill's wonderful. And then in this video we're going to talk about corporate America, and then again, remember there's going to be a third video we're going to talk specifically about her current business. But today we're going to focus, Jill, on that first career. You can tell us, how long was that stretch of time there?
It was 25 years.
25 years. That's a lot. And that's
lot.
really cool. So you invested a lot of your life
I did.
into corporate America. So give us some background on kind of what that experience was like at a high level, what you learned, what you liked and you didn't like.
Sure. Yeah, I graduated from UK and I had a degree in healthcare management, and so I went right into healthcare management. Managed a small medical practice, and then moved to family medicine residency, and then from there just got bigger and bigger. I got an MBA in healthcare management, and worked for bigger practices in university settings. A lot of that time in cancer care. A few of those years in pediatric cancer care, which is a whole different ballgame.
Have a big heart.
Yeah. But I loved finance and operations, and the more I could get my arms around the whole picture, the better it was, right? I wanted to have both the physician revenue and the hospital revenue, and recruiting physicians to build towards something that worked on both sides, right? So that was kind of my goal in life for quite a while.
Okay. What was driving you? So we talked a little bit about your parents about loving what you do, right? And you saw that. And so it sounds like certainly you had good skills, right? And you were being rewarded for those good skills. So because anybody that starts at a general level and then ends up in a specific area, it's because they have a Liam Neeson, a particular set of skills. So kind of talk about what was driving you.
Yeah, I think being effective is important, right? That's where your self-confidence comes from in those things. For the most part, I was moved by the mission. And so I was really lucky to work under some great leaders. So I worked for some people who taught me a lot and valued my skills and put me in some really, growing positions. So I was able to learn a lot through those activities. And I think that broad background of of dicey experiences, right? You learn a lot, and then you have confidence in those areas. So, but I was able to learn under some people who were really generous with the way they think. And the way they think about things is so important. A little outside the box, right? So when I'm talking to colleagues who don't come from that mindset, I sound a little wild in my ideas, but you have to continue to grow and connect healthcare to the community, and get people to donate to your program, etc. And so you have to continue to be creative and continue to connect. You can't just stay inside the walls of the hospital and hope for the best.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So it sounded like you mentioned some people sharing with you. Did you have mentors? Did you have one in particular that made a really big difference for you?
I've had several. And really, I didn't take a position that I didn't think was going to be good for me from that mentorship level. Tim Bricker obviously was the pinnacle of that, but there were others before that. And other managers that I worked alongside that were more experienced than me, that went ahead and shared their experiences and told me how things can go wrong before I started into a project.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people that have shared with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you obviously were successful. You used a good word, which is effectiveness, right? Like being effective is important at the end of the day. You can get any position in the world, for those of you that are listening. If you're not effective, that's going to be a problem at some point. So kind of talk to me though, like, was there a moment where you spent 25 years and you made a shift? So was there something that kind of, that you started becoming aware that you were looking for something maybe a little different for yourself?
Yeah, I definitely was a turning point. Probably about 4 years ago. It didn't seem like what I was doing was in line with all of the values that I grew up with. And, you know, I had a big operation, had a lot of employees, had a large set of doctors, some of whom I'd recruited, and organizationally it wasn't in line with what we were doing. And the large organization was making some decisions that were detrimental to the program that I was part of, and I just couldn't be that effective leader for all involved any longer, and it started to take a toll on my health. So I'd made the move to Louisville to be close to my family. I have 2 wonderful nephews. They're 5 and 10, and I love them to death. We're good buddies, and so this is the right place. But healthcare wasn't a fit anymore, so I had to, you know, regroup and figure out what I want to do for the next, you know, because I don't have 5 years till, you know, my retirement. I've got a whole lot longer than that.
Yeah.
So I needed to figure out something that was going to be fun, that was going to be consistent with who I was going to do good for people, because that's, you know, what I had been trying to do in healthcare for all that long time. And it had to be something kind of intricate, right? I mean, healthcare is built on some basic building blocks of how we get paid, and then we adapt our operations in order to get good at that, right? So we can get paid more and more. And so I was looking for something that was going to engage and that was going to help me to grow, continue to grow as a person, continue to grow as a professional. So I went to the beach for a couple of weeks. Thank you, Susan, and reformulated.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's what we're going to talk about in the third video.
Okay.
Is exactly what happened after that beach.
Okay.
With Susan, apparently. All right. So yes, that is awesome, and that's a good way to handle. You got to step away sometimes and figure out what that looks like for everybody. So Jill, again, for those of you that didn't see the first video, please go back and find it. But in the first video, she told you all how you could connect with her.
Right.
So if you something she said spoke to you all professionally or personally, get in touch with her. What's the best way for them to contact you, Jill?
You can call or you can text 502-405-1071, or reach out to me through LinkedIn or through Facebook, and we'll chat some more.
Cool. Yeah, so if you want to meet another fantastic person in Louisville, reach out to her and grab a cup of coffee. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.